5% Talks with Ty and Anita. And good morning.
Good morning.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Leigh Zydonik. I am the director of the Foothills Food Bank and Resource Center up in the Cave Creek or northern Maricopa County, southern Yavapai County.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. And we brought you here because you guys have so much going on up there. You guys just kind of finished a new location, right?
We hope to gain occupancy Monday, so yes.
Coming up here.
It is.
Well, tell us about Foothills Food Bank. You're one of the smaller, I came out years ago when you were doing some packing. You're one of the smaller food banks in the area.
We are growing, though.
But you are growing.
Right. We now currently are 225 plus square miles or 16 zip codes, so we cover quite an area. We go all the way up to Mayer, down just south of the 101, Rio Verde over to just west of I-17. So it is a pretty large area, very rural area.
Let's talk about this because I always think it's so fascinating, especially during the pandemic. That's kind of when I think a lot of folks, you know, who never had to go to a food bank found themselves going to a food bank.
Right.
And I mean, the need is always there. Talk about just kind of what happened during the pandemic, because I think that was such a bizarre time for so many people.
It was a bizarre time. Actually, it's kind of weird during the pandemic because people were afraid to go out, so they didn't go out as much. So our numbers did drop, but afterwards it was crazy how much they've increased. So I've been at the food bank for 4 years now. When I first came in, it was during the pandemic, and we were seeing probably under 500 households per week. We are now well over 650 per week. So it has definitely increased. I think, you know, once again, the need during the pandemic, people were a little antsy about going out and being around people. So once that things cleared up, the need has, especially with the economy and everything, one of the biggest demographics that we are seeing up in that area is our senior population.
Really?
If you're on a fixed income and those prices go up, it's kind of hard to
Right, you're
rebound from
retired,
that.
so you're not getting that 2%, 3% increase.
Exactly.
What's the history of Foothills Food Bank and Resource Center?
So,
how and when did you get started?
1988, so 36 years ago they started, and it really was in Cave Creek, and it was to help feed migrant workers. And since then it has really increased. We now have three locations. We are in Cave Creek, we are in New River, and we are in Black Canyon City. And then we do mobile distributions as well. So we have one at St. Luke Catholic Church and one at a Noah clinic.
And that's why you guys expanded, why you're in a bigger space, because the need is expanding.
Exactly. The current location is modified. It was a former home and workshop.
Oh, really?
And it really was never meant to be what we're trying to do with it. And it's not been that we don't have enough food. We can get plenty of food. We don't have the space to process it, to store it, and to get it back out. So that is the main reason that we are in this beautiful new facility, because we can do so much more. We can get food to folks where they're at.
Sure. And talk about that. I mean, there must be a lot that goes on behind the scenes, because I think when people look at a food bank, and like Anita said, I've been to a multiple, it's such a well-oiled machine. You guys know what you're doing. But behind the scenes, I can only imagine there is a lot going on to make sure that, like you mentioned, you guys are going out into the community in some of these cases. Walk me through just kind of what goes on that people don't see.
It is definitely a busy little beehive.
I'm sure.
So we are a grocery rescue program. That means that we get food from Trader Joe's, AJ's, Fry's, you know, I think we have 30 different grocery stores that we go to every week and get food from. And when we bring it back, it is very labor intensive because you have to call through everything. You know, things are at the end of their shelf life. They're still good, but they're at the end. So we have folks, it takes 26 volunteers at each of our locations just to go through the day. We have over 340 active volunteers, which is amazing. But yeah, you have to go through all the food, and then you bring it out to we are a client choice pantry, meaning that we don't just give a box of food. People get to shop like it's a marketplace.
Oh, wow. So, yes, Sherry Nevada Pup is asking, where does the food come from? And that's something that you just addressed.
Yes.
Local grocery stores.
75% of our food comes from that grocery rescue program. We are St. Mary's largest grocery rescue partner.
So then when you say people can come and shop, how does that work?
So they come in just like a grocery store or a marketplace. We just started an appointment system actually today at our Cave Creek location. So they have an appointment, they come in and they get a grocery cart and go around. You know, we'll have limits on some things because we can only give out what we get in, but they shop for, you know, fresh produce, bakery, deli, meats,
Whatever they need.
whatever they need.
Now, are there any, like, do you ask for anything? Are there any
ID,
prerequisites in order to come to the food bank?
For us, just as long as you live within that service area, that's the only thing we require. We just need proof that you live there because, obviously we cannot afford to feed
Sure.
everybody.
Yeah.
We do have, that is our only prerequisite. It's humbling to have to come, so we don't
Yeah.
ask a bunch of questions.
Sure.
Yeah. You mentioned that the demographic that has the greatest need right now is the older elderly population.
Yes.
And so you brought an example.
did.
And this is called a what?
This would be, we do
gonna put that on the table.
Alrighty. We partner with Foothills Caring Corps, and we do provide for those seniors that can't get out of their homes, we provide boxes of food. And so different things like breakfast, we try to be very heart and health conscious. One of the things that people don't think about, but especially for your seniors, pop-top cans.
Oh,
it's very
to make it a
difficult
little,
to,
I
difficult.
see. Or like little plastic tops like this.
And if you notice the sizes are individual, very small, if you are living by yourself or even just two of you, having a large tub of peanut butter that you got from Costco probably is
isn't
going to
make any sense.
Sure.
So something like this is a
small.
little bit.
Yeah, so we
And-
do ask folks when they do, we do food drives and donations, if you can, think about, low sodium, pop-top cans, small individual sizes, especially for our kids and our seniors, it's a lot easier for them to handle those.
Is this something you're dropping off to the seniors' home because some of them may not have cars?
So
or
we make this, and then Caring Corps will deliver it when they deliver their meals to them. So
Now, you mentioned that you work with the restaurants, but I mean, folks can donate as well, correct?
absolutely.
And that's always something that you guys
always
will-
something that is our second largest way we get food is the food drives, and we actually are in Purge Your Pantry, which is a food drive that we hold in the spring. We have so many folks that go to cooler climates in
Yeah.
the summer, and so it's a great way for them to get rid of things from their
Oh, that's
pantry,
so
their
smart.
refrigerators.
Yeah.
I think we have a graphic with that information on it in case people are watching and can donate. That would be, Aaron is asking, can you be from anywhere in the Phoenix area? And-
Absolutely, we will accept donations from anyone. It's just to get our services, you have to be within our service area.
Okay, go through that service area one more time in
is-
case Aaron just popped in.
Yep, it is north to Mayor, down past the 101, Rio Verde, past I-17. But if you go on our website, foothillsfoodbank.com, it will give a map and the different zip codes that we do cover.
Now, you brought a kind of a myriad of stuff, and this is kind of what you guys are looking for right now, correct?
Right, that could be something that we do a weekend snack pack program for our school children, and those are some examples of what they might find in there. One of the things that we found out earlier when we did these is cans get really heavy. So you have a kindergartner coming, trying to carry an 8-pound
Dragging that
drag,
home?
dragging a bag of food. So we cautiously or consciously try to get something that's light, that we can provide 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 dinners, plus some snacks for the weekend.
Yeah,
Kids
'cause
love
that
the snacks.
Yeah, they
They
love the
do.
snacks, and
And
it's
I
easy
know.
for them to do themselves too, in case
Yes.
mom or dad are still at
Exactly.
the job,
If-
right?
If
or at
it's
work.
something that they could do, make themselves, either put in the microwave or
Yeah.
whatever, that's ideal.
I've done a number of pieces with different organizations that work with homeless people who have pets, and many times they say the person will forego eating the meal to make sure that their pet gets fed.
Absolutely.
And that is something that you guys actually try to work with as well.
We do provide dog and cat food. We also, anything that is not fit for human consumption, because once again, it's at the end of its
Sure.
shelf life, we do give out to farms and rescue programs. So if it's not, we kind of tier it that,
Yeah.
for humans and then for animals, and we really try to have as least amount of waste as possible.
Wow.
And we're less than 3% waste right now.
That's incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah, and so the dog food, you just come in and you're just asking for that? Again,
We give it out once a month.
Once
and,
okay.
Yeah, and so we will have bags of dog food or bags of cat food that you can get.
and then the food that isn't used, you mentioned Little Waste, so
Yes.
that goes to Better Piggies.
Better Piggies Rescue is one of them. We have several farms that come and gather the food, and that can be daily. So we're always looking for farm partners.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic. I like that no waste.
Let me ask you this, because I think what you guys do is so fantastic. What is it like for you just personally to be able to do, you mentioned that you've been in this job for what, 4
4
years
years, yes.
now? What has it been like? I mean, because I can only imagine that you are really saving lives and helping people every single
It can
day.
be very heartwarming. It's the stories are so touching, and to know that you've really, between the volunteers, the staff, has made a difference in someone's life, help uplifting. I think it does us every bit as good as it does them.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sure.
Let's talk about those volunteers. What does it take to be a volunteer? And have you ever seen anyone who was on the receiving end then come back in and say, you know what, things are a little bit better, I want to give back?
Absolutely. We've had folks that, just needed a lift up and then come back and they give back. We've seen it the other way too. Folks that, we are one of the tax credit, Arizona charitable tax credit, and had a donor that gave every single year.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden she found herself, her adult son had a neurological disorder, and she moved back home, and she needed our services then. So she was a donor and then a recipient, and now back to a donor because she was able to get the help that she needed for
How much time are the volunteers putting in? Is there a requirement? Do you show up once? Do you want to come back every week? How does that work?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
So we have folks that just come and sub. We have others that will come in 3 days a week. It's like almost a job. They have that passion for doing well, but it's also a social thing. A lot of our folks, they're retired, so it's time for them to give back, and they found friendships throughout this. They have a dinner club, we have a book club, it's just folks that really get along well together, and it's really fun to watch the volunteers just thrive and have purpose as well as giving back to our folks.
Now, have you ever seen yourselves I know kind of every food bank kind of ebbs and flows with the season.
Yes.
You mentioned kind of this is the time when a lot of those snowbirds go back, so hopefully you're going to get some of that purge for you guys.
Yep.
What season do you find is kind of the most difficult for you to keep food in the pantry?
The summer is hard because we get...
So we're coming up on that.
Right. We get fewer donations because there's not as many people there. The need doesn't go down, but and the stores also, we don't, especially up in that area, don't have as many full-time residents, and so they're giving as little or less food. So that summer is hard for donation-wise. We love Thanksgiving and Christmas season because everyone's
there, and that's what people do.
Which is wonderful, but we need it all year long.
If they can't bring a can of food, is there a way to give back with gift cards? Or
you could do gift cards, donations. We have great buying power because we are large. We can buy it wholesale. So if you don't have the opportunity to purchase yourself, we can get it at a much better deal and at the timing we need it.
What's the number? We have less than a minute. What is the number one thing that you need with this food drive? What is going?
We would love cans of soup that are low sodium, any kind of food, individual size that is healthy. We are the only gold certified nutritional pantry in the state of Arizona. So we really look towards giving out those healthy options.
Awesome. Well, Leigh, thank you so much for coming in, and give us that website one more time if folks want to get more information. I'm going to pop this back up too if folks want to take a look at that. That's the Purge Your Pantry happening right now, and then the foothillsfoodbank.com. That's fantastic.
And we're on Instagram and Facebook at Foothills Food Bank.
We can find you everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, congrats on the growth, I think. I mean, it means that you're giving